Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a short trade here on the S&P, primarily just using this massive zone of resistance as our entry trigger. So I have my stop set at 80.5. I'm looking for my first target to come off where we saw the buyers come in the last time, down here at 73.5. So I'm going to go to 73 and 3/4. We're going to take 3 contracts off there. And the final target, we're not really looking for much more, right? This downward momentum that we're seeing has been relatively lackluster. We got stuck in this really nasty range. They tried breaking higher and then dumped lower, but that move down was immediately met with a move back up and then right back down again. And these moves are just not that great. So I am anticipating a break of the low, but I'm not anticipating a break of the low by much. So the low right now is at 72.5. I'm only going to go 1 point underneath it to 71.5 because that's all I'm expecting this move to go, especially given this sort of weakening that we've been seeing. So at the moment, the area of support and resistance, this is where they got stuck earlier. That's where that entire range formed. You can see that massive, massive support that came in there. When they finally broke down, they even tried to give it one more shot before they failed back down. So now that we're pretty much, the buyers are out of the way, now I'm looking for the sellers to take back over in this area and fail back lower. And that's exactly what we're seeing, a beautiful rejection candle off of that area and everything in the world telling us to go short here. So looking for the first target down at 73 and 3/4. That's going to get us, let's see here, 4.5 points. And then the final objective farther down, again, not expecting much, but expecting a break of the low for another 6 3/4 points. So we have plenty of distance to the downside here in terms of profitability. Now we just have to see the sellers step up to the plate. We are getting pretty late in the day. We're going on 10:55 now here in a couple minutes, and that's really just kind of making things, if anything, just making it a little bit harder in the sense that it's going to take longer for the trade to progress. But that being said, these moves, once they finally started going, have been relatively quick. We can see that this downward move happened very quickly. Same with this breakdown, and when they bought it back up, it shot back up very quickly as well. The one main cause for concern is when they get to that middle portion, that's where they get kind of nasty. And this could be that middle portion. So we're kind of in here thinking, well, it's either going to go pretty fast in the next couple candles or we're going to be stuck here for the next 3 hours waiting for this to drop. So 50-50 at this point in time. It's looking good, and we can definitely see the sellers are taking back control here, but given what we've seen so far, we may be in this range for a little while before we see them break down. But the next stop that we're looking for is 73 and 3/4. All right, we finally get the target filled. We tested it earlier, never filled it on an initial push, and we saw a little bit of profit taking. Not a surprise. Seems like everyone else followed that same line of thought. Now we're digging down into the lows here. We can see if we get that push down that we're looking for. This low of day could definitely act as an area. Wow, all in one shot. I was going to say act as an area of support, but apparently not, given the reaction that we just saw there. So beautiful move down. That's exactly what we were looking for. But again, I'm not anticipating this going flying through the lows any further than, maybe a point or two. So this move down, looking great. We got our target filled. Everything that we were looking for on this setup worked out absolutely perfectly. Now, in terms of the overall profit, it was a relatively small size at 4 contracts, but we still pulled in 1,012.50 on the trade. So 1,012.50 on the trade at 12.50 a tick, that's 81 ticks to the downside for a beautiful move lower on an otherwise relatively slow and choppy day. We haven't seen much today in terms of good movement. It's been a lot of this where you get stuck in a range for 3 hours and they finally break out and that just causes another range, and they finally break out and that just goes into another range. We've been seeing a lot of that. So this honestly, it appears to be about the best move of the day so far, and we were right along with it. So beautiful move down, 1,012.50 on the trade. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com, and as always, we'll catch you next time.